Thank you, Sierra. Yeah, Sad won their map pick, but can they get the revenge as we return to Split, last one by QoR? And it's one thing to beat a team once, but now both teams have had a week to anti-strat. Preparation will be what defines this map.
100%. And again, you see Kumi picking that veto as one of the responses to that. You know, we saw it previously on Bind as Kumi was tough to get a lot of that util up. Again, as Shayo mentioned, would love to see that get a little more stretch on either of these sites. Feels like Sad won't be able to recycle execs as often with the composition and map that we've got going. That being said, starting out on the defensive side, with Sad getting to choose where they start out, and giving Jerwin and Zaj, you know, this same double duelist poke composition that's been so dangerous, means that Sad are more than happy to just take their time, stretch these rounds out, keep QoR guessing, shaking, sweating, whatever they thought they were doing last map.
Kicking their feet, hopefully, too, because, man, that was quite the map one for Sad. Feeling as good as ever. You already have Moose getting humbled here on this lurk, trying to dodge away from any haunts thrown from Sad, who are quick to take a peek and try to explore the rest of the map. They want to try and be one step ahead of QoR's pistol.
Getting that first blood would be really crucial because the past ones have been so isolated, and Pain is so by himself right now. You've got 2 on him, 25 HP.
Double dead.
Wow. And Pain is patient on the paranoia, just now is going to throw it out as that entry pick happens here for QoR. They infiltrate into vents, and they pave their way. Jerwin, it's often such a huge anchor for this vents position, what really broke QoR down in the past, and they just address it fire with fire, and there hasn't been any signs of life from Sad in this pistol. QoR take the space, they take the kills, Flya hands Welly and L. You may just have a flawless pistol under QoR's belt.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, it's the first damage that Sad had done all around right then and there.
Flawless.
And that was very simple. At the end of the day there, Pain so alone against the 2. Just then, you have somebody rotating up to tower, and the reflexes from Kumi, Note, and Flya, all so clean for those approaches. Find the first, and then just walking up to Jerwin, who just cannot land the trade at all. So then you get 2 people you can work with in vents, already more than QoR we're probably going to bargain for. From there, you can just steamroll that A site and save all the really fun, juicy stuff for later.
QoR is such a sheriff-heavy team, and that's why they're very scary when it comes to these pistol rounds. Now, Moose has noted kind of that aggressive stance that Sad have done in the pistol when it comes. This is A main side, so now recruiting a lot more friends for this party, but not getting the showing immediately there from Sad. You're expecting now they're going to be cowering behind some classics, behind a lower buy, and man, okay, the firing squad in position, and QoR, they have shed some blood, unexpected, and these weapons may be difficult to recover. You may just want to leave someone behind, and Moose doesn't even need a weapon. He is just clearing the way in mid, and QoR gets shaken up, but not too stirred.
Yeah, QoR's aiming is looking so clean these opening 2 rounds. Not the biggest litmus test, but already a fantastic start out. Only thing Sad did correctly there was guess, and the stack was prepared, had the high, low, lower into a couple, you know, classic pot shots to get rid of what did turn out to be probably the least important bodies util-wise if you wanted to extend that fight any longer for the follow-up. So, good resource management by QoR. Getting kind of close to this rotation. You still got, you know, a Phantom in your pocket, so you can make a decent dent into this bonus.
I think you may want to start exploiting Pain here on the left side for B, and that was an important adjustment that Sad made on Split, is to reinforce B and have someone like Zaj flex more into defending that side of the map. But he's on scouting duty as the role of Yoru, right? Of being able to gate crash at sides of the map. But QoR have been given an ample amount of space to use prowlers to get info. There's a counter prowler there from Welly to just secure ramps. And this is important engagement here from Smoke. Oh, and Welly is always the one to kind of jump around, get info, not fully commit. Jerwin's going to be committing to being 6 feet under. So first blood here for QoR.
Poke damage already on a Welly as well. They see that as the ticket to go in, but they have not waited out that second gate crash, and Zaj catches Smoke looking behind him. So they'll reapproach vents again.
Toxins going up.
Looks like a B lane, just maybe how much can you draw towards the A side of the map, because Kumi is not budging. And they really want that engagement with Pain, because you haven't had that paranoia come out yet, and that has absolutely killed QoR on these entries in their last encounter. But patient as ever, Sad gonna adjust their positions, and Pain with a beautiful double kill teleports out of trouble. Moose will still find him at the end of the day, but 12 seconds left. QoR are drawn out to their last seconds to plant. Zaj and Welly have a 2v2, and Moose only has 3 HP, and Zaj is quick to pounce. And Moose is looking like prey at the moment, just has to play his life, play his ones, and Zaj confirms the win there for Sad.
And, you know, talking about exploiting somebody that's kind of on his own, to a degree, feels like there were a couple moments where Zaj could have been exposed in that manner. If you did something like wait for that second gate crash to either expire or be faked, so you know Zaj had to make a committal decision and then you can check the site, or you understand that because of the fact that he still has that gate crash available and you killed so quickly on the other side, he's able to rotate in quickly and get that kill from Sand on post plant. It's funny, it's like that was a bonus for QoR, but I am kind of disappointed that they weren't able to carry that out into a victory. That did look very within their grasp, but that makes me confident for how good the rest of this attack half is going to be, because now it does feel like you can dip into the well of like exploiting Pain being on his lonesome all the time, exploiting how much mid presence you're able to consistently execute, because Jerwin hasn't done a thing in vents yet.
Smoke has to try and tackle that, where usually Stellar would be in mail and causing such a ruckus with his orbs or snake bites. Now you have a full push, an aggressive one from Sad, getting the jump on QoR. And the bodies are on the ground, and so is the spike. This is disastrous for QoR. Now they send just solo Note to recover that, and Sad had smoked it off and won't be able to keep on watch.
Yeah, they'll go ahead and rotate up into this. Brazen from Sad to move through the poison orb, but being able to trade 2 for 2 out of that, best possible thing you could ask for here. Oh, Jerwin maybe finding the insert. Moose is passed, and he's gotten this consistent lurk before, but now the Cosmic Divide is going to have to make Jerwin make a tough decision. Does he decide to go in onto this pinch? Yes, he does, but he misses Note as well. Instead, he might get that final body. No, Kumi's not going to walk into it.
Kumi's worried about mid, and the spike did get planted. Jerwin immediately on it. Moose lurking away and finds the back of Jerwin. Jerwin was so paranoid about like a backliner here, like where Kumi is. Now that he's assessed the flank, Kumi can assess the front, and Sad are established. Moose has to play preventative duty, takes a 1, has to prevent the defuse, and can't! Oh, by the skin of Stellar's teeth, he will give that round to Sad.
So close, and Moose's TTK has been one of the best in the lobby so far this game. You know he's mad at himself that it wasn't even shorter in that 1v2, but, I mean, even that being said, it was so dicey this whole way through. Jerwin getting in so early on the CD, taking forever to find a body, and it was right on top of the spike where he had to just stick himself. Thank God it took just a little too long for Pain to die. Stellar just barely able to get away with the defuse here. But Sad still don't have any sort of certain game plan to take rounds. So far, it's purely QoR in the margins.
That was just a hard round to come back from for QoR when you had dropped the spike in mid and seemed to be finding decent enough adjustments, and a clutch there from Stellar is the only thing that gave Sad the win there, I feel like. But here comes QoR just sending all 5 down mid. Prowlers gonna battle bot through mid here as Stellar gets pushed back out of mail, or not Stellar, where Stellar usually is. Welly is gonna cosplay as that, and now that QoR have broken into there, they're gonna be able to keep watch over Pain, who wants to take this fight here in Garage. Already hearing the jumps from Flya, back down to half HP. Pain in maybe some trouble as he teleports out, and QoR, now it's time to go and find these defenders. It's QoR's slow scaling affair, and that's given enough time for Sad to get on the flank. Jerwin could get active here, and Pain is still gonna anchor so well. Kumi has to do something and change this to get QoR secure, and Stellar holds to front with the judge, but at range it's not enough. Jerwin may just be enough as the flank starts to activate. Convergent paths not gonna affect Kumi, and this Jerwin, he's still secures the kill.
Oh, what a fun round. Wow. So much to touch on for that one. For one, like you mentioned, the switch up from Welly as opposed to Stellar on the tower, that's a good lack of intel that you give momentarily, but you still just save a little bit more of the bank for the reapproach. You still have a very readable position on where Stellar is, though. And really, you have a pretty readable position on where the rest of Sad is now that you already know that Pain's been hyperextended in the same spot he's been this whole time. So Moose just starts walking down the tower into the staircase, finds Zaj in CT, and then walks back. Runs directly into LOS so he can't get an extra peek even after he had potentially the drop on them. And then Jerwin uses his ulti into this open B site, still gets the kill. And now, First Blood is already going Core's way after this eco is a little torn down. But Smoke down to 9 HP as well in the op trade.
Lethality feeling like it's dissipated when Pain has been removed, one of the hardest working players according to his coach when it comes to Sad's lineup. But this judge is going to be painful. Smoke at 9 HP is going to be a next victim in the Sad death note, and with the delays created at the choke, Sad have kept the opponent at bay. They nightfall the opposite end towards mid, thinking Core we're going to pinch from all sides. Zaj tries to get ahead of the situation and maybe even an upgrade on his classic. He'll pick up the Vandal through Garage. Now the flank is something Core have to worry about. And, well, let's say they've got 99 problems and, well, landing the spike ain't going to be one because they're dead. 4-2 now for Sad.
Once again, like a little addled with mistakes here for Sad's defense, assuming the 2-stack was going to be careening down the tower, so you launched the Nightfall so prior to this, and then the Dimensional Drift in the 3v2 because you want to guarantee this economy, but Core's economy is still, like, not awful. So, I'm not seeing a lot of, like, optimization here from Sad. It's very different to, like, the big picture visage that they usually have. It's very much more round-around, but it's working so far. 4-round streak, and you've got only 1 rifle to worry about this round, so no need to stack either. And they'll switch up the mid presence again. They're going to insert Jerwin this time.
And Smoke being denied his op, he has been such a star for Core when he buys those. Of course, it's awkward on attacking split, but because you have these Viper walls into the mix, it's denied a lot of sight lines. And
oh my God.
Oh, Jerwin's on the flank again. I blink once and Jerwin's on the flank. Like,
just such a good read.
He's been fine.
Oh, but Moose not prepared for that. And you figure if anyone, you're going to find Moose on the lurk because he's always been that guy, but completely ignoring the potential for Moose to still be stuck in mid where he's usually been stuck. And that's an easy rifle pickup.
Core's options are limited. You only have 1 site left to hit while B has been taken over, and Zaj will be a thorn in Core's side, already denying presence within the site. That is something Core have to address. They'll do so from the high ground, drop down from Smoke. His aim was already getting messed up by that enough.
30 seconds
and he
left.
just can't seem to get access to screens, not without dealing with the final boss of Welly, the initiator to fear in this series. And Sad will put a stop to this Core round unless Core can rely on Moose to make some magic happen. This wraparound to trust Flya to fend for himself solo, and Moose gets checked. And it's all Moose finding the timings. Ace opportunity, but with 8 HP versus 100. As much as I want to hype this up, Flya will get the guarantee, and Core will catch up.
Just let the Moose run loose. That's the only way Core can win this. I mean, they came closer than ever to win cons when Moose was doing that in the first place, just finding the lurk kill on mid-steps or vents early on. That's been the way that Core has been able to open up these fights in the earlier rounds. And then it was Moose as the playmaker when Core was down members, being able to work himself up the tower or down vents a little farther in heaven in order to grab just that extra 1 or 2 picks. And this time it was 2. Turned onto him, but so poorly timed and packed. So Moose was able to grab both of them, get that Viper's pit up, big old bullhorn, wee-oo, to make sure that 2v1 is nice and easy. And now 3-4, Core's fully reset. They have the dimensional drift to be able to get themselves back in edgewise when the guns actually come to meet them. But for now, Sad's spent.
Smoke has an outlaw to try and deal with this eco buy as Jerwin dashed in, refracted, Took a hell of amount of bullets, but not enough to shred through his plot armor as he's still alive at 14 HP. But just knowing that, well, the right side of the map is looking pretty light. So what is QoR up to? It's very light mid control for Sad because Jerwin was out exploring. So Stellar may have a lot on his plate, but didn't really take an aggro peek, so Vents is being pushed, and this could be trouble for Welly, who has his back turned. He is really fully trusting in this mid control, and Welly under fire, can't drop down fast enough, and QoR have an important power position.
What other choice do you have when so much of T is just unavailable for you to gain intel on? Sad had to go for the gamble stack once they hit the 45-second mark. Just say, okay, let's hope QoR go for that full-blown execute on our end. And Jerwin with that rotate back up into the steps was an interesting idea to maybe tempt that weaker side that QoR could get if they walk up those steps into the second shotgun that they wouldn't have expected because Stellar already revealed the first. But still, with guns like this, with position like that, it's yeah, you're not working with much. The scaffolding is a little shaky. So QoR can get it to 4-4, have the streak they need. No drift required here either, so they can set up their own very solid foundation. And meanwhile, Sad now only have that pit to play deny. So if anything, they need to start inserting earlier. They need to make even quicker decisions once that clock starts running, and that lets QoR start to run rampant. That lets Moose get, you know, God knows where.
And QoR feel like they're deathballing a lot of 4-1s, which gives the opportunity for someone like Jerwin to go on his little flank adventures, but QoR are keeping tabs on that. And I think the only chance that Sad could have turned that last round in their favor was if Jerwin could have gotten that flank through sewers and maybe got a gun upgrade. But Flya checks him at the door. You will not pass go. You will not win the round. And we have ourselves a tie game. And this is exciting. We have Sad taking a timeout now to discuss going forward what to expect out of QoR.
Yeah, it's been good to see QoR, you know, continue to workshop this split, but also kind of understand how sort of slippery a grip they have on it, knowing that you can, you know, in a region like this especially, you can really reduce a map like Split down to the full-blown fights. And so either finding ways to stall or negate or isolate that, those all favor QoR. Again, Sad's big picture stuff. And if they cannot see the bigger picture, then they're not going to be able to put any of the pieces for it together. So you want to maintain that composure that we saw QoR have on Bind. If you're able to come up with even 1 or 2 more here, you're more than content.
Up v up. As Smoke has purchased another sniper now this round. Dimensional Drift may want to, guessing he has a shorty in the back pocket, maybe want to switch things up. Kumi will usually hold the op or something. Now it'll be no to pick it up if something goes awry here, and to now push through mid. The orbs have been kept up here for Stellar. He wants to reinforce mid a bit better because that was the gap that Sad left open on their eco. Of course, it was an eco, so going to be a weird one regardless. But QoR are leaning towards B now.
Do you like switching Zaj and Jerwin's positions? Because you let Zaj continue to still have that dynamicism to pick up on the B site, which you just did with the gate crash, but Jerwin watching from ramps, you still have a good amount of mobility to be able to get in and out of a vulnerable spot like that if QoR decides to push here, with Sad able to maintain that blow for blow and not give away any space so far this round. That might be exactly what they do. And in response, Jerwin's going to walk up with this operator with Welly babysitting.
QoR no idea where Jerwin has been. Dimensional Drift, that'll lock things in, including this Cosmic Divide that boxes out the site. And look, Smoke is decloaking all the way into screen. Shorty, where the sun don't shine into Jerwin. And Sad are trying to get ahead of this, but now they're just staggering in, and they just get obliterated. This is quite a decisive round for QoR. With the investment that they made, you hope to get this exact result.
Yeah, knowing Sad could prepare themselves for that last scenario and just, you know, overpowering with the ultimates, should they have walked up into it, and you catch an early 2. Props to Welly for being able to trade Kumi out on his way down, but Jerwin had no such luck, and with the Cosmic Divide available for the pushback, Sad had to make that one-and-done call of, do we try to intercept now with the sort of piecemeal structure that we have as we're all just sort of scurrying back over, or do we take those extra couple seconds, let QoR spread themselves as long as they want, up ramps, up A, down screens with the help of that CD? They didn't want to take that chance.
A Smoke is going to take a chance at B. We haven't seen QoR really take a peek at this in quite a while. It's been a pain point of their attack, but pain point is at the back of Pain's head. Really beautiful shot from Smoke, getting ahead of this. Now the orb for QoR, and what's feeling like an opportunity to maybe have this Yoru gate crash in, make that space. Prowler just to make sure. And Sad are nowhere to be found on B.
Spike planted.
Everybody's out for this. No relocation to tower yet. You've got to wait, yeah, so long for these smokes to go. Note with the setup, and then he can just kick back and be a secondary.
Now it's
Yeah,
a
even that
waiting
one
game.
threat on the tower. You put one star down, well, he's so terrified.
Take hold.
And Sad
I'll find you.
just being 2 away from 2 big ults, the convergent paths and the Nightfall would be nice to just at least get 1 kill here, just to be a bit closer as the Prowler will suss out Sad trying to go down with the ship, and Smoke wants their demise to be at his hands. Kumi will at least convert the double. That ult cycle that you've talked about previously is very important for QoR to turn the sprint into a marathon.
And now that you've, you know, got yourself up against full-blown rifles again, you've got to overpower with the bigger stuff, and the Nightfall is obviously the most tantalizing thing here. It's just about catching Sad at the right space, and Sad have done a decent job of waiting until around 50 or 45 to have any really huge stacks. Like, you've still kept Stellar on either the steps or the vent. You've still kept Pain basically on the woodwork this entire game. Welly always on that A heaven until something is confirmed. So, feels like the Nightfall has to be either for the pinch or the post. And Sad hate you getting to either of those spots. So if they stop before the spike goes down, feels like this might be pretty figured out.
You have the pit and mid, and of course sense that this is still a weaker hold on mid, and there's more importance on the perimeter. It wouldn't be beyond QoR to just Nightfall through that or Kumi evolution through the pit, but QoR mid more centered around catching Jerwin in these aggressive peaks as the Prowler from the defense marking some presence here on the right side of the map. And a slower default for QoR, try not to give any gaps for a flank opportunity.
Oh, Smoke has caught this just as the Evo's been popped. I agree. I think, yeah, if you want to take this pit, that's the way to go. Have him and either, yeah, Flya or Note enable with all of this util dumping. You don't know how many are stacked up here.
Face your fear.
But Jerwin's still getting punished on ramps. That's not something that QoR expected they would get to come away with. So they're already super happy with this. And yeah, he just gets to walk past all of that, dude.
30 seconds left.
I like that decision out of Stellar. You don't need to be greedy. You don't need to try to be the hero. Let the pit drop it, and you trade out the pit for evolution and the Nightfall. Pain gets to backstab, and Sad are not just gonna lay back and let this all happen. They'll take the map control you give them, but Note's gonna take the bodies. You feed to him. This is like fodder. You need the objective down ASAP. 8 seconds. Saj focuses on the bodies he can see, and his vision goes to black as QoR up to 7.
Last round in the half.
So much time still wasted, and QoR are still the ones that look so chill about it. The nerves were getting to Sad on those duels there. Aim not totally in for Welly or Stel as they reapproach. And, I mean, they had the compress. They had the moment where they could really chow down on this stack coming in. Because QoR is still playing it a bit slow, but walking through that Evo, being able to punish the operator on the ramp, you have so much space you've already just gotten handed over. At that point, you have to win the fights that everybody knows you're coming, and Sad just sweating a little bit more.
And it was a 7-5 defensive half for Sad. Deja vu from how the series ended last time they met on this in the upper bracket semifinal, and QoR have done the work and have found what has been successful for them. That success may just ride on how you're going to counter Zaj. Gets ahead of this dimensional drift. Is going to spot the lurk. They're going to just throw a Nightfall. All of that just for Flya? I would be jazzed. I would be flattered that I got 2 ultimates committed for me.
Yeah, for me?
For
All
me?
of this for me? Yeah, you're more than happy with that, dude. Are you kidding? They just use so much just to find him, and then you still force the wrap through spawn. Oh, but Sag catch it too.
If this works out for Sad, that is so insane. 1v1, and Moose, he knows how to win those. 8-4 for QoR, trying to get to that finish line to tie the series.
Man, what a strange bunch of rounds, I think. I mean, yeah, that's just, you used everything for one dude there. And QoR, I mean, you haven't even figured out that they're already fully basically set up on B main. Like, that was one of the faster execs we've seen from them, despite losing that first blood. But, I mean, shoot, you've already read that there's 3 on the other side. Why wouldn't you not gun it? Yeah, feels like Sad, little boomed there. Felt like they saw each individual threat as too much on its own, rather than, again, the sum of its parts that Sad is so good at taking down when it's all strung together. On the attack, hopefully they have a little more say in how that goes, a little more agency in the structure that everyone has to maintain.
Got the double duelist on attack, though, so there could be a lot of pain points here for Sad, and they're just going to decide to funnel everything into this choke point, and a little fake there as QoR panic and make sure to spam through the smoke. They're not just going to watch this happen. Sad they got time to play with, so going to go elsewhere.
Kumi, ready to check this again. I think 2 on either side of mid. Not something we saw Sad do too often, especially in the pistol, but 50 seconds to go. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another rotation even this late into the clock, knowing these guys, especially if you spot Kumi's util on this end.
And Dash doesn't have gate crash, so he won't be joining anytime soon. And, you know, he's just trying to join the enemy team. But great backstab there from Note, as there was trying to be some disruption. You even pull Moose to this side of the map, so Sad are going to try and take this 3 versus 2, but Kumi and Smoke lay down the law, and they're going to just hide away in screens. German just stares right into the sun, gets blinded. Sad really don't achieve much except Pain giving them a shot. Double kill, 1 versus 2. Be all up to this young gun. Change the fate of this round. This is feeling like a must-win for Sad if they want to get back into this map. And Moose will confront him first and re-swing into that with the bandit. Nice play from Moose as usual to end the round in QoR's favor.
Dude, yeah, Moose has been a shooter this series so far. So locked in, very quick with the openers. And yeah, that felt like another moment where Sad had a couple missed opportunities, and QoR, I mean, what, were 2 of those bodies not even visible? Just Kumi and Moose, you know, chatting it up in screens. You have the toxic screen to help you out. Yeah, they were seen. They were the ones that were seen. And they still get the free picks off, thanks to that vulnerability. Couple pots, all you need. And, I mean, from there, yeah, Pain has a great 2-piece to potentially clutch up, but too much to pay attention to here. And that's seeming like the overarching theme for Sad's bottom line is they just can't get a grip on absolutely everything at once.
So Sad win both the pistols on bind, win the map. QoR win both the pistols on split equals profit, perhaps. But Sad have to get up close and personal with these, and Jerwin can't catch up to Moose. And now Moose will put down the snake bite and repeats. He's been going for those more often than not, thinking Sad we're going to take a step back. Even Moose gets humbled, but QoR should be more than happy. They're up in this round, and you catch the toes. Got the dogs out for Zaj. And that means QoR will get a strong bonus coming up.
All right, man. Yeah, great setup, great knockdown there. And, I mean, if anything, you want a statement piece up in the vents like this, right? You want to scare Sad sideways every inch of this approach. And with the double duelist, mid feels like, you know, that end that QoR can very much rest on at the end of the day with the smokes up and your Fade util to stall. Just way harder to poke and light speed your way in there as opposed to one of the main lines that QoR can continue to pay slightly more attention to now that they don't have to, you know, toss 2 members over here. But Sad on the bonus, we'll see how much work they're able to get done here. Last time, I believe it was only 1 rifle they were able to hold on to, so it's slim pickings.
Toxin screen down.
Ella from smoke.
Oh, come
watches
on,
B,
man.
Kumi just builds a wall. No lurk chance for Stellar as Sad's options and chances in the map start to dwindle. But Welly just overpowers Moose, who was more in an aggro position in mid. As the Prowler may just catch up there to Node as he tries to delay. Jerwin up and above, looking up like William Dafoe, and he's just dead. Sad, 3 versus 3. This could be an important round, and Payne always gives him a chance. The hero, the cape on his back. But the spike hasn't been planted yet. Kumi and Fly need to work together, and they're split. The crossfire is strong, and Welly splits them like the Red Sea, and it's all up to Flya. He's gonna watch this go by. Barrel spotted, and Payne at the right moment, at the right time. 5 to 10 now for QoR.
A lot of individual firing tests going both ways for a round like that. Starting with, you know, Kumi being able to fight off Stellar, who is, 215-4. God, that's ugly. I shouldn't have looked down. But as that wall dissipates, you get rid of your lurker so early on. So Sad have to press just a little bit harder. Welly able to find 3 along the way of that smoke. Unable to land those very crucial outlaw shots that could have done so much damage in the middle of this. And from there, it's too slowed down. QoR can't reapproach with what they have left. Now, that could potentially change, but Sad is very much stocked up to deal with it. Oh, but Moose! Again!
You can just put Moose in the middle of the map on an island, no raft, and he'll still survive. Like, Sad have tried to just death ball into him. Moose gets out his 2nd kill, just
keep it
punching
going
through the wall. And it's just, when it rains, it pours, and Sad got no umbrellas. The Blues continue. And QoR will get up very close to the finish line coming up. That's when you thought Sad, just based on how that map 1 was so dominant. Yeah, it went strong in their map pick. It's their map pick. It's going to be strong for them. QoR, this is their playground. And they're repeating the result that they had against Sad, but doing it even better.
Yeah, not seeing many differences, funnily enough, between these 2 teams. I think everybody's maintaining kind of the same mannerisms. If anything, I'd say the 2 smokers, Note and Payne, have stepped up a little bit in this map. The individual responsibility placed on them is so great, particularly like we saw Payne on the defense so much that he had to hold on his shoulders very often. And now here, as you know, that active smoker that you have to take over a site without the conditioning necessary, Payne's paranoias are huge for something like Jerwin or Zaj being able to move in without that extra help. So all about divvying those resources up, and he's been having to aim on top of that. Note obviously coming through harder in that front. But other than that, like you said, it's like the scores have gone very different ways, but these map picks are these teams for a reason out the gate. They feel so strong on them. They feel so I mean, you can see the confidence emanating from the individual duels that these guys take on the maps that they picked. Like, Moose feels like he is at home at the moment. And sure, his shooting was fantastic on the previous map, but here he has just been a janitor on the floor. And they have not had to relinquish his crucial linchpin mid spot this whole map, and they're going to continue to not do that, despite the fact that we've got some ults on the table now for Sad, but yeah, still terrible guns.
And QoR, I mean, each individual has proven their weight in gold, and Sad, they've shown so many looks at how this double duelist operates. If it's not Jerwin dashing in, it's Zaj with the gate crash, and that's what they needed. Zaj to get on the board, Zaj to get online. He opens up with a fantastic double kill just going through a main. Now Zaj is really paving the way for the spike to go down, and QoR will just have to cower and let it happen. Smoke gonna get pressed. He tries to fend for himself. And Sad post timeout. Well, they get back up on their feet.
Okay, Jerwin, very forward thinking. And you saw he was already doing that in these rounds beforehand, just not coming up with enough of it. I don't know what kind of pep talk Style needed to give Jerwin to make him start W-keying again, but I'm sure Style's given it 1,000 times. He's a young guy that is still taking on so many new responsibilities as this insane fragger at the top of this new core for Sad, and he's taking all that responsibility so well. But the confidence has always been the biggest factor in his performance. He's always been able to take that space when he is confident, and I mean, I can't imagine a player in this region that isn't scared of taking a one-on-one with him.
Who's next?
Need those heroics out of Sad. And Zaj gonna try and repeat that result. Deep dimensional drift into B. The call out's made. The Nightfall follows up. Note can't hold on. And the Prowler take a chomp out of Flya, which will reveal, and Sad comfortable with their assessment of the site, get the plant. And they'll even have Stellar on flank watch, so QoR can't pull anything Sad don't know about.
Yeah, this is as strung together as you like. Nice and quick, and Zaj on the TP too, so you start reinforcing that idea that QoR can only take what they can when they can, and no more than that.
Okay, conversion path, Sherwin.
Okay.
Well, he's laying the path down, and it's soaked in blood. And QoR, well, they got a good ults and a nice little op into the next round. They're going to be happy to keep, because QoR, they've built up enough insurance rounds to just invest in the long term.
Yeah, what a springboard after that timeout, man. I mean, just fully enabling Jerwin a second round after such a solid opener means that you have, you know, the floodgates fully down. This economy is already set to like fully catch up to 11-11. And QoR, on the other side of this, your ult cycle's fine, your eco no longer is. I mean, this is a save round that is going into a very half-hearted buy, so smoke is going to have to be as ubiquitous as possible to be able to slow down Sad to a crawl, which they're already fine with doing. He still has to kill them in the process, too. He's already going to stick up with the mid-pinch. Oh, but Sherwin, again.
Hero rifle, Moose, stepping up to the plate.
Oh, and thank you very much.
Anything. Yeah, no one's gonna lob anything at him. And
No more dreams.
hello there, Flya with the jump scare.
And now Zaj is the one that's in. Anybody spot him? Here's Flya and the Interceptor. Oh, your knife's out, Kumi!
Oh my God.
Zaj! That's disgusting! And then Pay with the TP in right after!
May have just done it. Sad. Need to keep that momentum going. The wind and the sails. Can QoR put a stop to this? Got a 3 versus 4 retake. One of them with a pistol. Once the smoke dissipates, smoke could be trouble here with the op. It feels like dropping it, making a dimensional drift play, but nah, no one is gonna give him a fight. No one's gonna peek this op. Time is running out, so at least No will go and bait out. Maybe play things close. You got cutoff opportunity there for Pain. And Smoke is hoping to deliver Pain, but man, Sad got all their stops covered.
I mean, that is such an amazing turnaround. I mean, you're already convincing QoR to a point where they're, you know, if they did have the rifles, they would consider saving again. Even still, you know, you see the blemishes in that little walkthrough with Stellar. A little awkward that Zaj has to do some extra pickup, but, you know, in the same sense, undetectable on both sides, and so I guess everybody is even a little bit here. But, I mean, off of that save round, your eco is once again the tiniest bit questionable. QoR has almost too much to work with this round to try to hold on. So how much do you try to counteract when you know Sad is the one that's playing hyperactive, when you know they're playing hyper-aggressive? If they're going to make the decision that much earlier on a site, or they have, you know, the tip-off in a 5v4 or a 5v3 to take over a space, how much is QoR going to use in the mid-plant, and then how much is QoR going to use in that post going forward? Because the post looks so certain from Sad. It looks like they can activate that firing squad once the bomb goes down and have the site on lock.
These past couple rounds have been really opened up by Zaj, who usually with this double duelist lineup, they're accompanied by like a supportive player, like a Flya or some initiator or some controller of some sort. Then you have the duelist that split off. But now it's Zaj just running solo through A, using gate crashes in more creative fashions to just disrupt what QoR have been conditioned to expect. which is not sad to up the risk level to this point and not at this level of the game. He got a pit early, not in mid, but in B this time. There's the approach. Smoke, it's hunting season. But the flash, he stabilizes him and he can't teleport out. That's a big fight for Sad to win.
They'll keep running it down. Fly to intercept. Can catch Stellar on the way in so they can turn their attention to it. Jerwin also dealt with. Welly quite low. That was so much damage done by him, but still a 2v3 on the post.
Important that Jerwin refracted there to share that damage because you needed him more than ever. Moose 1v3. Damage is done. Welly not expecting a neighbor that close.
Toxin screen
Moose
down.
will creep in. Position revealed. One in heaven. Jerwin needs to protect his other duelist. This has been a fearsome duelist duo, and Jerwin caps out the round. When he's heating up, it is so difficult to stop Jerwin. He has had multi-kills so many rounds.
No, yeah, he is so bright in the face of everything else. Up to 19-13 now after some heinous work done in these past few rounds. Yeah, really tough to turn your attention away from him once he gets going. And now he has every excuse to bring that outlaw out again. And not even Flya can get that extra, 25 like he did last time. Evo gone, Pit gone. Still some resources left, but time is running out here, Jen. Sad might just be able to pull this off. They just got to maintain the composure.
Poison's off.
I'm on the edge of my seat. Sad, we're down 4-10. And look at where we are now. Look at us. This series, this rematch. Look at us. Isn't this great? Like, I'm excited. And Sad, see how many miracles, how many rabbits they can pull out of their hat. Zaj is playing with the spacing here and catches someone peeking for his clone. Moose has been out-thunk, and mid is open, and Kumi secures the perimeter with just a sheriff.
No trade out. Couldn't watch it in time because Jerwin was scoped. And now, Kumi shouldn't have any reason to peek back out again. I wonder if Moose showed his barrel or not, because he was smoked away as well, I believe. All right, well, you confirmed he's solo. Jumping with the light speed. Yeah, Kumi's got to just cross-cut out.
Jerwin, he's hungry. Now he's at the backside with another duelist. I don't know how QoR are going to address this besides the Hail Mary play. Full flank, through ramps. And Payne is in such a passive position too, so he won't be spotted until he wants to be.
This rifle, that's what they're looking for here, that they can pick up at least to have something. But Payne with this backstab, eventually that can get counteracted. But he's missed the timing, so they're already in.
Payne's got to get active. We just know how hyped this guy can be. Well, you gotta show up. Your team's getting pushed, and it's the Payne sandwich. Oh, and that is just delicious. On the menu today, we could have a real comeback, guys.
I'm glad that he at least got a little in on the action by the end of that. But yeah, I mean, he was a bit of a failsafe by that point with how slow he was moving. But again, I mean, yeah, you run out of safe options, and it seems like QoR is trying to apply as much risk management to this as possible, because it's like individual kills don't really matter. Just taking rounds does at this stage. And I mean, there are certain points in which you just have to hand this over, hold on to what else you've got left, and, you know, Smoke's got his op back again, so this is the round to really do it. Otherwise, you got an easy path to Sad getting the first map point here.
Poison orb.
QoR have to dim the sparkle because Sad have turned it around. You have so many good ults if you're QoR, but it's about how you use them that matters.
Poison's off.
You really want to be sure. You don't want to blind Nightfall. And despite that presence in mid, that wasn't enough for Flya to be able to pull that out. But Smoke keeps Garage in his favor. And Sad start to throw util in his way. Force the gate crash out. That could be that could be just a ghost sign for Sad. But of course, more than ever, Moose has to protect this corner. And now he's got multiple places he's going to be pushed from. Hindered, conversion pass, the Nightfall, anything but the kitchen sink. But QoR, they got guns. And man, are they good with it. Mechanically, QoR just going to win it out like that. Without needing to use an ult. against 2 from Sad invested. Stellar needs to turn it around. He just can't. He is having such a rough split. But Smoke, man, he won that for QoR.
Match point.
Yeah, thank your lucky stars Smoke managed to stay alive after that first frag with the operator, because they needed him so bad. Jerwin from the tower winning that duel against Kumi, hairpin, then catching 2 on the convergent paths, forcing Moose to tuck up, who also, by the way, gets 1 on his way down. So crucial to that round as well. Then he gets on top of the box, gets 1 more before falling down to Smoke, who has to finally pay attention to him before being able to turn back on the rest of the team. And then QoR maintaining personal advantage from there. They're able to hold it down, but it is so damn close here. They have their guns, they have their util, they have their ultimates still as well. Nothing used there. So everything in the cards to take this. And Zaj, oh buddy, what are you doing there?
He's looking at the wall. It's nice, but watching paint dry ain't gonna win you the round. But Stellar trades and gives them an opening. And Sad really gambled that this would be the part of the map that the op isn't at. And Smoke will be on his way soon, though. So Sad gotta work their advantages. They're so worried about the back spawn and how they've given time for rotates to come in. Kumi, you have to address this problem. And Stellar and Welly will funnel in. They've removed him by force. The pit, the walls have been built. Surely this round is secure here for Sad.
Yeah, I think you gotta give it over.
Spike planted.
You can't risk losing that operator when everyone's economy is so slim. Sad will have the opportunity to play for overtime here. But now without the pit, Stellar using that now is a very, it's a loud decision both sides are making. Sad proclaiming that they will not need it. And both the pads and the Nightfall were already used previously. He can't fall back on that. It's got to be the double TP. Payne with the misposition. Zaj with the guaranteed aggression into a stack without potentially being killed in that 1v1 like we saw last round. Already, they're going to be able to squeeze a lot more value out of the first bits of a round to get them to this endpoint that seems so certain. But there is still not a solid answer for Smoke. And, I mean, Moose is going to win this too. Yeah, Moose has won every 1v1 he's taken this game. Like, there is still so much about QoR that is practically unchallengeable.
Or ults to almost 1. I would like to see Zaj maybe go for an orb here, because I think that would be your best chance to having an easier time getting into the site, especially trying to suss out if there's an op, or just at least what the setup is for the defenders. Could be going into OT or QoR, call it a fake comeback. And with what QoR have in store, seemingly in their favor on paper, but it's execution that matters. The second go around on this very map, QoR, I'm gonna deliver the 2-peat. That tip of the spear is Smoke. Doesn't even want to reveal the op is on this side of the map. Here is the peek, and right into the gut, and through the heart of Sad, they lose their initiator. No repeat here for Smoke. Ork just wants to make sure, and Sad got nothing to work with now. They've just lost their lurk.
I'll handle this.
Fighting too hard for the hot button issues they already knew existed. And the Nightfall on top of the crowd. The Dimensional Drift tries to chauffeur in. You've got to fight death here.
Smoke will be decloaked.
Oh, and Smoke's all the way back.
Oh, Sad are just absolutely surrounded. Jerwin, the most important 1v1 of this map. Here is the peak, but the shot from Smoke, the one to end it all. Sad only have 2. And it's the rookies that have to do more than ever expected from them. What a cosmic divide. But Fly, it was just to confuse them, and that is it. QoR 13-11 to deny the comeback out of Sad.
Oh yeah, acts as fake a comeback as can be. Mental refusing to be addled from either side, but at the same time, the strengths can never really be stopped here. Smoke was an undeniable operator throughout this. There was no beating him in the fight. There was no denying him any leverage. There was just avoiding him as long as possible until he became the tiniest threat possible. There was no stopping Moose from lurking. There was no stopping him from winning the fight against you. There was only prolonging the time in which he could only facilitate those fights. QoR always had the win cons available. They always had the better players for this map in particular, and they always had this one in the bag. We're going to map 3 even Stevens.
And with the same scoreline, 13-11, as their last encounter, I mean, The script writes itself, folks, and we're just here along for the ride. And if, according to that script, we're going to another familiar map, Breeze, chosen by Sad, another revisit of that last rematch where Breeze was won in OT by QoR. That was how they kicked off the series. But how will this series continue? We'll find out after this.